Denise Arola here, coming to you with another video on the K-3 screeners specifically for parents. Just like the grades 3 through high school assessments were built for specific purposes, the K-3 screener and the K-3 system are built for specific purposes. So there are different assessments within the system. And again, this is going to offer parents more than our previous assessment systems have offered. And I just want to give you some updates on the screener because this information may or may not have come to you with your student scores. The K-3 screener and the testlets that are part of the system are closely coupled. You may have already received your screener results. If you have, then this may help you understand them a little bit better. If you haven't, then you need to talk to your child's school and ask them for your access code. I'll explain more on the next slide. The K-3 system starts with a screener that helps to identify if students have any learning needs that might keep them from accessing instruction at their grade level. And it is just a signal. It's not a diagnosis. So it's just a signal. There are also these diagnostic testlets that help your teachers dig deeper into what a child might need in order to be supported in accessing grade level learning. It's part of this bigger system that also includes an interim, which your students' results might be in there already. It also includes a summative at the end of the year. So far this year, your child has probably only taken the screener, may have taken testlets, and may have taken the interim if your school is using the Atlas system for interims. You're going to find out which assessments your child has taken by going to the family portal. Everybody has taken the K-3 screener, all the K through 3 students, unless you have enrolled after the closing date. When you get to the family portal, you'll see the blue background and it'll have announcements. To get to the access, you scroll down and you'll see this family portal entry field. Here's where you're going to enter your student's access code, their birthday, and their legal first name. That should be referenced on your letter, the legal first name, in case some kids have like a double name and that can confuse the computer. So you can always double check, and if you're still not sure or you have any problems with access, you can contact your child's school. By the way, there are also resources on this page, so don't hesitate to avail yourself of these additional resources. Also ways to get translations for kids, for families who are English speakers of other language or may not be speaking English and need a translation. When you get into the portal and you see the K-3 students that took the screeners this fall, you're going to see your child and you're going to be able to see the signal that the screener is giving. A screener is usually a really short assessment that just helps you to determine if you need to dig deeper. And in this case, I'm looking at a report. I've logged in, and this particular child in English language arts and in mathematics is at the ready to receive grade level instruction. That doesn't mean that they've completed everything they need to know about their grade level. It means they're ready and don't have missing pieces that might keep them from being successful in the grade this year. As you can see, this is part of that system. We're identifying readiness or potential risk, and then we're using diagnostic testlets to understand. Now, if your child did receive a potential risk notice on their screener, then you will probably be able to see testlets that are being produced if the teacher is using the testlets in the system. Now, the scores came out late this year, so some teachers had already figured out what are your child's specific needs. But going forward in the future, this is going to be part of the system so that it's a transparent system that enables you to see how your child is doing. Let's take a deeper look at the screener. So the screener has these detailed reports, but there's a few important things to know about the results this year. So the screener was built in a very short amount of time to meet the law, the LEARNS Act, that requires that the screeners be given at this point in time at the beginning of this school year. And because it had to be built to meet this deadline, some of the items that were used didn't function exactly as they were expected to. So your child, if they were in kindergarten, one of the items that they had to complete was to be able to recognize the upper and lowercase letters in the alphabet. Now, if they did that in the system, the system itself was kind of clunky and kids really struggled. And so the scores for that were dropped from determining whether your child is at risk. However, or potentially at risk, let me say. And the same is true if they took sound symbol recognition at grade 1. So what you're going to see reported for your child are the areas that are being reported for their grade level. Now, because the literacy screener, particularly at grades kindergarten and grade 1, because we had to drop some items, the overall scale score is not as meaningful, shall we say. What we really want you to focus on are the reporting categories at the bottom. So the scale score includes some of those items that were clunky and didn't function well. So ignore the scale score. For literacy, your child's potential risk or readiness was determined by the reporting categories and whether or not they demonstrated readiness at each of these reporting categories. So that's near the bottom of the report, and that's what you would be paying attention to. Let's take a look at a student report that shows the student at potential risk. Again, I don't know if you noticed, but the scale score for this child is just a little bit lower than the child in the previous example, but that doesn't determine the risk. What determines a risk is what I have highlighted in this purple box down here. You can see the reporting categories for this particular grade level are language comprehension, phonemic awareness, phonics, specifically decoding, and encoding phonics. So those 4 areas are what are assessed, and in this particular child's case, you can see the student was ready in language comprehension. So that means they're able to understand the meaning of spoken language. Language comprehension gets at when do they recognize the meaning of words that are part of our spoken language? And then phonemic awareness and then phonics decoding and phonics encoding were areas of need for this particular child. So this is important because this helps you to understand where your child might struggle to access grade level instruction and what you might want to know about how your child's teacher is helping your child get up to grade level in these particular areas. So in the system, a teacher can give a testlet, and if they've given a testlet, you should be able to see the results of the testlet. Those are deeper pieces of information, like you might give a testlet on decoding. So can they read a word that is the pattern of consonant, vowel, consonant, or as the teachers say, CVC words. So that might be a word like cup or hat. If they're struggling to decode, then there are very specific things that your teacher and you can do to help them to improve in that area. So it is important to look at the reporting categories, especially in literacy. And I will show you in the next slide how math is different. So use this information to ask your child's teacher questions, to advocate for their needs, and to make sure that they're receiving the support that they need. So the math screener is different because math is different. In the math screener, this particular screener was developed to test the grade level standards, but really look at the foundational skills that students would hopefully come to the grade level with or learn in the early parts of the grade level. On the math screener, you only get an overall score, and you can pay attention to that overall score because we didn't drop items. We didn't have the clunkiness of the items. And the overall score is what is being used in math to identify potential risk. Now, again, this is where it's a little different from literacy because you don't get the reporting categories. you would have to reach out to your child's teacher to determine if there are areas of need that you might be able to support the teacher and partner with them on helping your child improve in those areas. So math, different. I mentioned earlier that the math screener gives you some foundational skills, and those foundational skills can signal the potential need, but the diagnostic testlets actually help the teachers go deeper to really support students' readiness to receive grade level instruction. What I wanted to do is show you what those reporting categories are. You don't get scores in them, but it's important to know that these screeners are looking at number and place value, computation, which is addition, subtraction, and algebraic reasoning, geometry and measurement, and data analysis. In this particular chart, you can see that at the beginning of the year in kindergarten and first grade, they're only looking at number and place value and computation and algebraic reasoning because those are so foundational to everything else. Those are the most important pieces. If we get our kids solid there, then they're ready for all the rest. In the middle of the year, you can see that more information is added. Now, the test also, the system, Atlas, also comes with interim assessments, and the interim assessment windows are opening. And if your child is taking interims, you will also see that information, so you can get a sense of their status on the grade level standards at this point in the year. When you get the next interim, you'll be able to see if they're making progress. So a beauty of this system is that you will have access to all of the scores that the students take within the Atlas system. So you can actually keep an eye on it as it happens. You don't have to wait for a piece of paper to be sent home anymore. You can log in and see your results. So if your child's score shows readiness in math, you are not going to see testlets, not likely to see testlets, unless the teacher is thinking, right on the edge of that risk. So it's always a potential. The testlets help determine whether or not your child really has additional support needs. This does not take the place of any kind of deeper diagnostics. This is really, it's designed to just give you a signal, and then the testlets go deeper. And then again, with subjects like math and literacy, you're going to be able to watch for progress throughout the year as your child completes the other assessments in the system at very specific times. So the interims will happen in the winter. There's usually a fall, winter, and a spring. Well, I hope this has been helpful. We are going to be reaching out and asking whether there are additional types of things that we can help you understand, so that you can be your child's best advocate and partner in their learning, and anything that we can help make more transparent for you so that your child can be more successful. That is something we're very interested in supporting you in. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more information in the future.